I created this entire AI series in less than an hour. And this type of content is becoming a real industry. There are thousands of YouTube channels already getting millions of views and making tens of thousands of dollars a month. But the money isn't the only interesting part. What's particularly interesting is just how good this content is getting. And in this video, I'm going to show you a few channels that are already working. Some are simple, some are weird, and some are genuinely impressive. Once you see what is working, the opportunity becomes much clearer. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how you can automate and create your own entire AI mini-series. So let's get into it. First up, we have Demon Flying Fox, and they originally created some of the very first viral AI video moments. One of their big hits was 3 years ago with the Harry Potter by Balenciaga skit.
You are Balenciaga, Harry.
Now, even with something as rudimentary as this, just with some simple characters slightly nodding and blinking, he was able to bring in more than 14 million views. And that was particularly just how captivating and original the concept was. But he's still going, and he's got more than 400,000 subscribers, and he's got more than 140 videos. And they've even redone their famous Harry Potter by Balenciaga and updated it for the modern times. And you can see just how far AI video has come with this. There is a very chiseled looking Harry and a rather elegant looking Dobby. Dobby! Now currently this channel is bringing in around 1 million views per month. And based on just YouTube ad revenue alone, that can equate to up to $6,000 per month. Now this is very dependent on where your audience is located, and truly it can range from anything from 2 to 10,000 based on that amount of views. But the key here is that's not the only way to monetize this type of channel. You also see in their description that they are selling merchandise. They are putting their AI generated songs on Spotify, and they even have a Patreon, which allows premium content for their subscribers. Now they have 1,000 Patreon subscribers, and this is most likely bringing them also in around $4,000 to $7,000 per month. So why did this channel work so well? Well, they're able to bring culturally relevant icons and create fan content that would never be before possible. The crossover of Harry Potter in North Korea is something that elicits a lot of curiosity, amusement, as well as nostalgia for the original Harry Potter cast. This almost absurdist, surrealist type of content works particularly well with AI. Now, this proves that AI video isn't only slop, it can also be genuinely creative and give us possibilities that would not be possible in other ways. Now, creating viral clips is one thing, but people are taking this further and creating much longer pieces of content. Next up, let's take a look at a different angle, and this is Julia McCoy. And she is a real-life person who originally had a YouTube channel. She suffered from long COVID, and after that, she created an AI avatar of herself to run her YouTube channel. This channel now has more than 300,000 subscribers and is bringing in over 1 million views per month. She is regularly putting out content almost every other day, and it's particularly impressive that she's able to do this as a brand element for her own identity. Now, these videos have a high level of production quality and some beautiful B-roll generated with AI, as well as some Vox-style animations. She's able to create compelling videos about a whole host of AI and tech-related topics. But let's take a look at a different angle, and this takes us back in time. One thing we can do is use very popular source material and use AI to tell this in an original way. And one compelling way that a channel is doing this is by taking the Bible and generating AI visuals to go with it. It's telling some of the most famous and salient stories from these scriptures and applying some beautiful effects to them. Here's one even about Samson, myself. Now, they've applied an anime style to this one, and they are retelling some of the greatest stories that are entrenched in our cultural identity in a new way. And this is also an interesting bridge where we're not just creating entertaining videos, but we can also make videos that serve a purpose. So not only can we reimagine ancient scriptures for the modern day, but we can also make educational content. And educational content is one of the most lucrative areas to be creating videos for. Now, one quite staggering channel that I found is this English Avenue that has 1.3 million subscribers, and their AI generated videos to help people improve their English language skills.
My name is Daniel. Today, I want to share my real journey of learning English. I was not born with good English. I was not a confident speaker.
Now, what's quite impressive is that they are putting out one video every single day, and some of their videos have got in excess of 3 million views. Their estimated monthly earnings are up to $14,000 from YouTube AdSense alone. But it's not just English that we could be teaching. We could take pretty much any subject that we like and turn it into an educational channel. One particularly interesting channel that I found teaches history, and this is called Majestic Studios. They have more than 200,000 subscribers, and this video, released just 6 months ago, has garnered almost 500,000 views. And this one talks you through the entire history of Manchester, England. And what's particularly beautiful about this one is it takes some real source material from the time, including etchings and engravings, and then applies AI imagery on top of that to create real renderings that showcase how it may have looked in the past. And I think this effect is a wonderful showcase of the benefit of AI, really bringing the history back to life. Now, to get even more specific about this, what I found particularly interesting is this video that came out a month ago, and it's even more specific. It's actually about the history of a soccer stadium in the UK. And it's got more than 500,000 views in just a single month. And it's a very similar style of video, but this uses a point of view storyteller explaining how the stadium was built, what the land was used for, and how it developed over the decades. You can see that they've put some lovely animations showing the different stages of construction over the past century until it becomes what we know it as today, the great theatre of football that is Anfield.
The European Cup is coming back to back in 77 and 78.
And so what we have here is an opportunity to take anything that garners huge amounts of cultural interest and to create content for it. Wherever passion and human interest lies, there is an opportunity for an AI YouTube channel. Now, one of the comments is particularly salient for this type of work, and it says that this is one of the only videos where the AI has effort. And that's the key here, is that it's easy to churn out AI slop without intention. But what really makes this stand out is applying intention, thought, and creating content that's going to resonate with people. And so one way to approach this is to consider some of the most culturally relevant and important people, ideas, brands, sports, and concepts. So you might consider historic geniuses like Einstein and Oppenheimer, or you might be looking at dictators, which have this macabre interest for many people, thinking about some of the atrocities that happened in the last century and documenting these for the importance of historical context. Now, and a further AI-generated YouTube channel that is particularly interesting is this one, which brings old photographs back to life using AI. They take interesting photographs of characters like Albert Einstein and imagine what he would look like if he was colorized and animated. And this gives us a sense of history brought to life. And it's another beautiful example of how we can use AI to create really meaningful content. Now, there are two extremely important caveats that I want to mention to you if you are thinking about taking this seriously. And they are that you must disclose this properly if you are creating content on YouTube. And that is part of the YouTube regulations. They say that you must use YouTube's built-in disclosure tool in YouTube Studio if your video includes synthetically altered or generated content that is realistic. This means that YouTube allows AI-generated content, but you must say that it is so. And the second important part is that you must put a lot of effort into your videos. They cannot be generic, repetitive, or low effort. And if YouTube deems that they are, they can demonetize your channel. They say using AI does not inherently restrict you from making money on the YouTube Partner Program, but YouTube strictly bans mass-produced AI slop. Your channel must provide substantial human value and avoid repetitive templates. The other big thing to keep in mind is you cannot use AI voice cloning or likeness generators of real people. So bear that in mind if you are creating your AI content. To stay on the good side of YouTube's policies, you want to make sure that your content is authentic, it requires high effort, it's not easily repeatable, and you're not stealing or copying anybody's likeness. And of course, make sure to declare that it is AI generated. Now, one type of channel that is particularly successful but also at high risk of being demonetized is creating ambient music videos. For example, this AI generated lo-fi coffee scene simply has this looping background and some rather chilled out music to go with it. It goes for over 3 hours and has garnered more than 3 million, almost 4 million views in 1 year. Now, the amount of money that you can make per video is also vastly determined by how long your video is, with longer videos being able to show more ads and generate you more revenue. So this is an incredibly lucrative area to be inside of. However, this is just the type of video that runs risk of being demonetized. But it's a huge area of interest, and it specifically taps into one part of YouTube viewership that's incredibly important, and that is things that people listen to when they go to sleep. So often I included play some ambient music when I can't sleep, and I'll play a long video from YouTube that helps me to sleep. Now you can see some of these are getting insane views, including this one that's got more than 40 million views in just a year. So there is a possibility of creating content just for this use case. And here is an example of a channel that does just this. And this channel got more than 2 million views in the last 6 months alone with this video. Now this one I do want to make sure I'm being completely honest with you with. It does appear as if it's using a human voiceover paired with AI animations. And of course, this is another way that we can approach this. We don't just have to make everything entirely with AI. There are real opportunities in bringing AI in and merging it with authentic video creation methods. So I've been experimenting with this myself, and on a recent video, I used my real voice and paired it with an AI avatar of myself. Now, I did this because I went away on a little trip and I wanted to create a video, but I couldn't take all of my recording equipment with me. So I used this AI-generated avatar of myself combined with my real voice. Now, another area where AI content is creating some incredibly popular videos is content for children. Now, children, of course, are less averse to watching AI-generated content, especially if they have no idea that it is so. And AI-generated content can work particularly well for animated and surreal content that is particularly engaging for children. Now, this channel, called Raffoff, is creating some very cute and surreal type of content that is getting some very good viewership. They've got more than 500,000 subscribers, and they're creating these surreal, cute little videos. And this is particularly interesting because children's videos are some of the most popular videos that have ever been launched on YouTube. Now, you might be surprised to find out, because I certainly was, that the most viewed video on YouTube is a children's video. And it's this incredibly viral and catchy song called Baby Shark Dance. And it simply showcases this rather odd song about being a baby shark with these quite rudimentary animations. And this is just the type of thing that you could create with AI. And the fact is, you will not believe this, but it has 17 billion views. Yes, that's billion with a B. That's enough views for every single person on the planet to watch it twice. It's absolutely mind-boggling, the amount of views. And if we think how much ad revenue that would create, it is quite frankly life-changing money. Now, one important thing to note about kids' content is that it often attracts much lower RPMs, which is the metric for measuring how much money a video is making per 1,000 views on YouTube. And RPM stands for revenue per milli, which is how much you make per 1,000 views. Now, kids' content often has restrictions on it because of the types of ads that can be shown, basically anything to do with finance or AI. Still, with that in mind, even at the assumed lowest amount of RPM, at the absolute minimum, this video has generated more than $4 million in revenue, which is absurd. That a 2-minute children's video can create $4 million. And a more realistic estimate is that it's created around $15 to $25 million in revenue. And of course, beyond this, this type of content monetizes in other extremely valuable ways, including being able to download songs and even an app. There's an official merch store, as well as sound books. Now, the lyrics are also nothing that is particularly life-changing. Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do-do, baby shark, do-do-do-do-do-do. But if this is wet your whistle for what's possible, let's take a look at how we can actually create our own AI miniseries. And for that, we're going to be using today's sponsor, InVideo. Now, InVideo has an incredible tool called Agent 1, and this allows you to use an agentic AI to keep track of all of the important elements inside of your creations. Now, this means that we can have consistent characters, consistent objects, real worlds that maintain relevance over time, and a whole host of other important features that allow us to go from creating really interesting viral clips all the way through to comprehensive pieces of media. Now, there's another interesting area of this, and this is the rise of microdrama. And this is an industry that's popping up in China, and it's already worth billions of dollars. Now, these are short 1 to 2 minute episodes, often filmed in a vertical format, and are perfect for disruption with AI. Now, their popularity in China showcases that this is likely a format that's going to take the West by storm, and we're already starting to see it ooze and seep into our culture. Now, in China, there are already studios that are having huge success with these AI-generated miniseries. One of the shows that put this on the map was The Strange Mirror of Mountains and Seas, where a Chinese studio used AI to generate whole worlds of monsters, heroes, and landscapes into these short, stunning fantasy episodes. So the obvious question is, how do you actually make one of these? So let's go ahead and jump into Agent 1 and create one ourselves. Now, simply, you can come into Agent 1 and start with a prompt. I'm using a microdrama, and make me the lead. I'm an explorer deep in the Amazon rainforest who stumbles onto something that shouldn't exist. Episode 1, I'm hacking through the jungle. I hear something behind me, and I turn to find a lost temple swallowed by the trees. Cinematic, tense, adventurous. Start with a script and a character sheet of me. And with this, I'm going to upload an image of myself, and we can send that right into the chat. Now, InVideo is a platform for people who are serious about creating complete pieces of content. And that's why it works so well if you are looking to make a much longer series of videos for YouTube. One of the great interesting areas of AI video right now is not simply making these individual clips. It's creating systems and processes that allow us to create much longer pieces of content. And that's where the real creativity is and where the real financial opportunities are. Now, once you've created the basics of your character, you'll be led into this shot, where on the left-hand side, we have the chat, where we converse with Agent 1. On the right-hand side, you'll see that we have the agent acting on our behalf, creating all of the assets and material that we need. This includes everything from creating character sheets to maintain consistency throughout. You'll see here that we have myself in every position, front, side, and back, as well as a close-up profile shot with a beautiful outfit that's going to maintain consistency throughout. Now, it also goes ahead and creates location sheets. Here we have an example of the location for my mini series. It's got this 4-panel reference sheet with exact text labels. This means that we maintain not only the look, the aesthetic, the color grade, but also the physical likeness of a place. Now, you'll notice on the side here, we also have different tabs. In this, you'll have the context window, and this is where we can put all of the relevant information for building out our world. Here we can upload documents, as well as visual language and brand guidelines to help us create the type of immersive worlds that bring us into a story. Now, this is an incredibly powerful way of staying organized to create our content. And as you can see, it's got all of the information we need stored here in its memory, and we can reference it every time we need to. Now, when it comes to creating assets inside of InVideo, it automatically uses the most appropriate model. Now, InVideo has access to the latest and greatest AI image and video models for your creation. Now, I particularly recommend using Seedance 2 for the video generation, as this, in my opinion, is the strongest AI video model out there. Now, Seedance 2.5 is also just on the horizon, and InVideo will be also adding that to the platform as soon as it's available. Now, do keep an eye out on the channel for that, as we're expecting that to be coming out in the next week or so. Now, what's great about using InVideo is that we can simply put in very natural instructions to the agent to make any changes that we want. For example, if I've been working on this scene where I'm coming into the temple, I can adjust it with this prompt. Take that exact temple and flood it with golden torchlight for the scene where I finally step inside. Now I can go ahead and send that into the chat, and it understands exactly what scene I'm referencing, exactly which clip, and makes the edit. And it goes from this to this. So why is this interesting? Well, InVideo allows us to mass produce and automate the creation of a whole host of different AI content. This means that we can test out a number of different approaches and ways of creating content, publish them and see what works. From that, we can go back and automate the creation of a whole host of different content. Now, let's take a look at a preview of my AI-generated mini-series. This is episode 1.
People say the Amazon still hides places no one was ever meant to find. I thought they were just stories, until today. Then I heard something. Whatever it wasn't an animal. Hidden beneath centuries of jungle, an entire temple. And something inside was already watching me.
Now, I also want to show you exactly how I trained Agent 1 for this. I started by giving it the full treatment document, including the story, characters, tone, visual direction, and the wider context of the project. I uploaded this directly into the chat, and it allowed me to train the entire project on all of the important elements to keep consistency, not only through individual characters and objects and locations, but into a broader world. So this isn't even just trying to keep individual elements consistent. It's much more about creating entire universes that we can draw from. This means the agent is not responding to each prompt in isolation. It understands the world we are building and can use that context throughout the creative process. Now, one of the biggest strengths of this here is its long-term memory. It means that things stay inside of the working memory of Agent 1. Agent 1 retains important details about all of our world building, without me having to explain everything every single time. And this deals with the particular issue of drift, which is where things start to look less and less like our original concepts as the generations go by. For a longer form project like a microdrama, that helps keep everything feel consistent over an entire series. Now, I'm curious, what type of AI generated content are you thinking of making? Let me know in the comments below. You can try out InVideo using the link at the top of the description, and a big thanks to InVideo for sponsoring this part of the video. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, then why not watch this one next, which is all about how to spot AI video. Because with AI generated content everywhere, it's important to be able to tell if what we're watching is real or AI. But most of all, I want to say thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here, and I wish you a delightful day.